and and I could see that there's a floor for it, a market for it, so that's something that you can push. But what was it that actually got you to try to kick this off? That's a big undertaking. That's a big undertaking. Do you have a team? Is it just you solo, or do you have people that work with you? And what got you to kick this off?
Well, I have many. What is it? Success has many fathers, and
Right.
failure's an orphan.
Right.
So, like, I have to give credit to a lot of the people that have educated and empowered me. That includes educational mentors, what have you. But like I said, most of my experience seems to be coming from a lot of the ministry work that I do.
Right.
Because like we were talking about again last week, I wasn't. I thank God that I wasn't a victim of like childhood sexual abuse.
Right.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is that if I'm not educated, well, by being educated about those types of situations, it helps me to discern other families that are going through those types of situations or what have you. But again, I think that's one of the reasons why my expertise stands out. The fact that I've put in the sweat equity
Right.
into actually doing a lot of this trial and error, and educating myself on how to become a better parent. Like I said, I mean, I'm not really saying anything new under the sun. What I'm trying to do is just get other people to understand that we're all on the same page.
I got you. Listen, we have this announcement to make, and once after we come back from announcement, I want to hear your take on what it takes to succeed in this kind of business. And congrats for even taking on such a task, first of all. But right after this announcement, we'll come back and we'll address that too, right here on We're on Point. One way you can support Radio Phoenix is by becoming one of our members. For as little as $35 per year, members receive discounts, savings, and other benefits provided by our membership program partners. And don't forget, the membership fee is tax deductible. For more information or to sign up, call 480-829-5746 or go online to radiophoenix.org. Click on the support tab at the top and then become a member on the drop-down list. And we thank you for your incredibly generous support of community radio. I gotta tag you up. Hey, what's up? How y'all doing? And I know that some of you see us out there in Facebook land. We do not own the rights to this music, but we're using it for your entertainment only, not for sale or redistribution. And we thank you for tuning in with us. Listen, I know some of you guys are inside the range of my voices. This is what we saw. This is what's up. Mother's Day. Their advertisements or advertisements for Mother's Day at Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving. And then they have things that says, listen, if you can't get it for Christmas, think about Mother's Day. And you're at Christmas. Then the New Year comes in. Get her that brand new diamond bracelet for New Year's. Welcome her in. Make her feel wanted and needed. New Year's. Then they sell you, it's Valentine's Day. So for Valentine's Day, we get her diamonds. We get her a necklace. We get her earrings. We get her a ring. And they said, you miss Valentine's Day? Make sure you get her that special thing, that special trinket for Mother's Day. And then 1 week, maybe two, before Father's Day, does Dad need a new tie? What the hell? Where's our value? Where's our worth? Don't you get it? That without this particular father and that particular woman, those particular children wouldn't particularly exist. We have worth. We have value. And sometimes it requires all we have to do is just pay attention, just to look, just to speak. Take a moment to just take a moment to listen to somebody else, what they have to say. Stop me mugging. Fathers are not that much more important, any more important than a mother, but we're equally as such. They each have their own roles. You see, they both have their own roles. They gotta follow. But it appears that in today's society, the father has been eclipsed by rhetoric, BS, and state affairs. We're gonna touch on it a little bit, but the thing is we have to come back to a resemblance of what it was to be a father, to fatherhood, to manhood, because it's kind of missing. You know what I'm saying? It's missing. But it's okay. We got this. That's what we do right here. We're on point. Check us out. I found this from 1969. I was 5 years old.
I was 18.
Got him. And we're back right here. We're on point. I'm your host, Trey, at radiophoenix.org, where the community comes to chill, to dance, to sing, to chillax, to connect, to listen. That's what we do right here. And we're inside of our Man of the Hour, our special Father's Day Man of the Hour segment. And we're going to wrap up our last part with our special guest, Daniel Nunez. And one more question right here. So there's a young man, young woman listening right now, and they hear what you said, and they said, you know what, I'd like to be a part of that, or I'd like to establish something like that. Mm-hmm. So your pearls of wisdom, concise, what would you tell them?
Well, one of the first things that I think are lacking as far as education is like practical experience. A lot of times people go to school, they think they're going to get a top paying job based on their degree or whatever, and 9 times out of 10 they end up doing something completely different.
Right.
So rather than focusing on your inabilities, focus on mastering the things that you're passionate about. Like I said, I've kind of run around for a long time like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to support other people's projects and everything. One of the recent misunderstandings is people think that I joined like this coffee project because I wanted to get rich and famous and get a Lamborghini and all these other things and whatnot. But what my ultimate purpose is finding an impact, having a global fingerprint on the world. Some people would call it a legacy or whatnot. It isn't to like necessarily do it for self-aggrandizement, but one of the long-term vision, one of the goals that I would like to be able to do is have a building with my father's name on it, that is like the father's first university,
right?
Because again, based on everything that we're trying to do as far as education and empowerment.
Yeah, so you're telling them.
Yes.
Okay. So here it is. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thank you first for imparting that with us, sharing that with us, because grand visions take grand effort. That's real talk. Listen, it's no joke. Listen, when we go to school from kindergarten, 1 + 1. That seems like an equation from hell. And then all of a sudden, so you saying if I have 1 apple and then I add another apple, I'm gonna have 2 apples. Man, mind blown. I'm just saying, it gets there. But the fact that somebody's able to enact on something that they dream about, that they're creating, that they wish to bring into flourishment, that's a task all its own, and it's something to be marveled over. So we want to thank you for bringing that to the forefront and to the table. Okay, people, here's what's up. I'm hoping, Daniel, you're going to stay with us and join our conversation. So here's our conversation. Our conversation is this. It's color him father. It's color him father. And I'm gonna tell you why we're addressing this. And joining us today, I got my boy Gilbert Sciences that's going to be joining us as well. We got a couple pieces that we wanna relay. I apologize if you hear us having a little bit of background props. I'm not exactly sure how that's happening, but the other day I was walking, I was picking up my nephew, and I walked inside this very prestigious place. I seen when they erected it, where it was and where it started from and what it became. I was actually a boxing coach there, and have been asked to come back. I walked in and I saw this dad, and he was holding his little girl's hand, and I said, "Hey, how you doing? Good morning." And he looked at me. He looked me up and down. And you guys that know me, y'all know I have a problem with being 5'8". You know, I got small man's disease. So don't what you looking at me like that for? But my thing was, as I spoke, and I'm not going to say I stepped outside of myself or stepped outside of my character to do such a thing, because that's natural. You should speak. God gave us a mouth. You know, I don't really care about your religious preference. My thing is, for me, and mind you, this does not in any way, form, fashion, or manner, any of the thoughts that you hear today are not expressed or by that of RadioPhoenix.org or its affiliates, but are those of the opinions of the guests and the host themselves. You got a mouth. You were God-given the ability to speak. You have ears, the ability to hear. You were given eyes so you can see, and you were given the sense of touch so you can extend a hand to a man. When a dad greets another dad, show the hell up and speak. It costs you nothing, not a damn thing, to speak. Extend your hand, say, "Hey, what's up? How you doing? Great." Keep it moving. You can see this dude down the street, 6 blocks away. You catch a flat, and he might be the very person to help you, or your mom's or your girl. "Oh, I saw you. Yeah, you was with blah, blah, blah. I got you. I'll help you." When we don't speak, man, we do ourselves a disservice. We do ourselves an injustice. And that's bad. Today, I got some fellas that are going to be joining me. I got my boy Sam Bolston. Barlow.
Yeah.
And he brought family with him. Put your name out there, what? And I got my boy Daniel, and we just want to talk a little bit. We want to say a couple things in regards to fatherhood. Now, me and Sam were walking, same establishment, same organization. I walked by and I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "What's up, partner?" And he kept moving. He spoke. No side eye. And him and his daughter were dressed alike a little bit too, I think. So yeah. He had daughters. So he had daughters and he was dressed alike. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." You know, I didn't get a chance to dress with my daughter. But you know, and hey, I'm not taking away from this brother's manhood. I'm holding it up high. I'm holding it with a reverence. And I was like, that's the bomb right there. So I'm looking and I said, "Hey, how you doing? My name is Trey. Blah. Are these your children?" He said, "Yeah, these are my daughters, blah, blah, blah." And he had a moment to speak. Now, his girls were behind him, so he had, you know, he was in full daddy mode. Flex! You know? He was in full daddy mode. Flex! You know, don't step up, dog. Just say what you got to say. All right, and we'd be all right. I was like, yeah, and I just let him know, "Why don't you come down? Let's chop this up a little bit. Let's talk about the state of fatherhood. Because it's missing." And he said, "I'm with you." Just like that. That simple. So I'm like, this right here is incredible. Today's fathers, in my opinion, are missing. So who better to ask or say something than today's fathers? Those who, you know what, these are not your Ace Coon Boons, your boys that you've been back to school with since you guys were in the kindergarten, but these are your fellas that you meet on your everyday. And they speak. You meet them on your everyday, and they have a conversation because they have opinions. They have opinions. They have views, perspectives that not everybody hears, and we're not all in tune at the same thing. But there's got to be something to it, so we're going to ask about it. Stan,
what's up?
Today's dad, man. What do you see the malfunction is, and what do you see as a solution?
That's a good question. It's a really good question. There's not going to ever really be a foolproof solution,
right?
Because it's always going to be up to the individual. But for me, it was just the love that I have for my children. In order to show that love, I think it takes more than just words. It takes actions.
Right.
So that's what I think that's for me. As far as the malfunction, what I see is that we have a lack of leaders in our community.
Ooh.
And the people that we follow, the ones we look up to and the ones we look at as role models, they're not leading right.
How so?
Well, just think about it. I don't know how everybody else live in their household, but I try to eliminate as much influence as I can from the outside world. So you won't catch my kids learning what they got to say on BET. You're not going to catch them.
Right.
You're not going to catch them twerking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, or doing anything they're not supposed to do. You're not going to find my son, following, certain rappers and doing what they do because they're influenced by it.
Right.
And when you eliminate those bad influences, then their eyes are open to what they really should be doing. And in this world, I don't know whose fault it is, but most of our male role models that we see on TV portray a different image than what they should.
I agree.
Not only to the females, but to our sons too.
Right.
All right. So, you got to be an influence on the boys and the girls as a father.
Right.
A lot of times, the man, they say, oh, the boy needs their man, that need their dad around, and that's why they're like this. But you know what? I'm starting to notice because I have 7 girls. That the girls,
I feel for you.
and I have 3 boys. So the girls, they need the father just as much as the boy.
That's true.
And that's why you guys see me dressed like my daughter without the dress.
Right.
I'm not gonna go that far, but
the color scheme, y'all, it was banging. It was banging.
We both had a checkered outfit, and I did it because I thought it'd make her feel good.
Right.
It wasn't really for me. I mean, we both like the outfits, but I wanted her to feel special. I mean, it don't have to just be the boys looking alike.
Right.
It could be the daughters also. And that was my one-on-one time. So you caught me on a good day.
Right.
And that's why I didn't mind coming, because that's the message me and my wife are trying to do with our kids right now. We're trying to be a role model to them.
And see, that's what's missing. Okay. And fatherhood is suffering, in my opinion. And I believe that some of the state has interfered so much inside the family dwelling that parents have fallen off. So much so, I hate to say this, I'm probably the elder member in this room, y'all. So, but
I feel like one. I feel old.
But when I went to school, there was no mass shootings.
Mm-hmm.
A brother who brought a gun to school is probably a BB gun. And he showed because it looked authentic, and he hid it inside the backpack in the lunchbox underneath the sandwiches that he made with the cookies and the juice. And he was like, yeah, to himself. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Respect is lost. Men don't even respect men nowadays, in my opinion. And if you from, I'm not going to say the hood, I'm just going to say, if you from the general urban area, we've gotten words to replace. We've gotten helping words we don't need And at one point when I was a kid, it was an insult for another man of color to call another man of color something less than himself and say it's a term of endearment. We didn't call our Latino brothers and heck, we didn't call Malibus or Caucasians Nooka. It just didn't happen. Hey, my Nook, no, unacceptable. And the thing about fatherhood is it doesn't end at our house. You know what? We have a small announcement. We're gonna go for our break, and when we get back, we're gonna address this. So y'all hang tight. Kick it with us right here. We're on point.
4520 North Central Avenue in Phoenix.
What's up, bud?
Ivan.
Good.
You're right.
Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but that's my thing. That's my thing, right? And see, that's what we're doing. And for you guys that are watching, we appreciate that. It's our Father's Day special.
Radio Phoenix is your.
And what you see are dads. Are you're not a father? Yes, you are. You're a dad. If you got cousins, nephews, nieces, and you got to put them in check, you have daddy duty. If your brother or sister, your mom, your nana, yeah, they go like this. Watch them. You can't be younger than them when you're watching them. You got to be older. You have to step into that with a degree of maturity. So the thing about it is our men nowadays, especially these men, they're fathers. You're born to be one.
Wait, what?
Tell me I'm wrong. Every man was born to be a father. Whether or not you decide to act upon it, you follow inside that route, you go that path, that's a different story. But you were born, you were designed, made to be one. Hey, one day your kid's gonna take that extra long shower and find out, hey, I'm a man. This feels great, so I'm a man. And at that moment, the fact of the matter is he has just found out he was designed to be a father. He doesn't know it yet, but he was designed to be a father. Radio Phoenix, the Alvin Galloway Show, and Great Press America presents Frederick Douglass Speaks. Riveting and iconic speech. What to the slave is the 4th of July? A reading performance of abolitionist and ex-slave Frederick Douglass. Riveting and iconic speech. The event featuring D.L. White, Richard Holmes, and Radio Phoenix host Floyd Alvin Galloway and Calvin Worthen take place on Tuesday, July 2nd at the 3rd Street Theater of the Phoenix Center of the Arts, 1202 North 3rd Street in downtown Phoenix, just north of Roosevelt. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. and the performance starts at 7 p.m. A portion of the proceeds will benefit Radio Phoenix. Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 at the door, and can be purchased online by searching for Frederick Douglass Speaks on eventbrite.com. You know what? We care, and we hope to see you there. This is a quick hour. But yeah, we at 45 minutes in, so we are okay. We'll be coming right off our time. But yeah, man, I have a lot of feelings about this whole thing. About just dads itself. What's up there? A lot of feelings about this whole thing itself because we're failing our kids. We're failing our kids. For those of you watching, checking us out on Facebook, thank you so very much. Live Me, Peeps Connect. We don't own the rights to this music, but we're using it for promotional service status with no profits coming to us at all. So this isn't for pay, just for entertainment. The thing that I see that's problematic is that we don't give each other advice anymore. You've become too damn stuck on yourself. You know what I mean? We become so stuck on ourselves, we don't take advice anymore. You know, if I saw his daughter and her dress was tucked in, we've gotten to a society where we can't approach somebody about things that are just out of place. You know what I'm saying? So you was looking at my baby booty?
Yeah.
No, bro. I wasn't looking at your baby's booty. But what's happening is your baby's booty is exposed for everybody to see. And as a dad, I thought you should know that. That's a fight. We can't even talk to our women in the street. Not, oh, nice shoes. You said, oh, they make your feet look nice. Oh, so my feet was ugly before? Why you looking at my feet? Don't nobody be looking at nobody's feet and stuff like that. That's so nasty. You a stalker, huh? I'm like, wait. So men have been displaced. We're taken out of our element. We can't even be courteous or chivalrous anymore.
Without
Without it being suggestive or creepy. Yes. I was like, wait a minute. So I held the door open for this lady at our job. Held the door open for this woman. And I knew she was older than me. And as she gets to the door, she pushes the other door open. I said, oh, I had you. She said, oh, no, honey. I'm a grown-ass woman. I can take care of this myself. I was like, whoa, okay. I see her inside the lunchroom like a week and a half later. She go like this. She said, these men is just piss poor in Arizona. They don't even open the door for you. I don't get it. And some of us fathers, we buying into that independence thing. Oh, well, since you're independent, I don't have to. Yes, you do. Yeah, you do. My girl can take care of me if she making more than me, but I'm a contributor. But my girls doesn't have to take care of me. She doesn't have to take care of me when I can do it as well, equally. Because our sons are watching us. Our daughters are watching us. Teach her, as a father, teach your daughter the kind of man you are is the kind of man she should look for. Exactly. He's not going to be overly quick with the hand. He's not going to be sharp at the tongue to berate her or belittle her or downrate her, degrade her, make inflammatory statements against her. Hey, ho, did you fix your freaking bed? Is that what you want your daughter to have or expect from a man? Unacceptable. It's not. It's not something we deal with. So our jobs, man, they come at us. And we're back right here. We're on point on RadioPhoenix.org, where the community comes to chill, to dance, to sing, to relax, to listen, to connect. And offline, y'all didn't hear it, but we were in our thing, and my boy Sam just came up and he was saying what it was for dads, or what it is to be a dad. D, what your idea for today's father? What's missing? What do you think is missing?
Well, just kind of like what you were talking about earlier, it's one of the reasons why I enjoy this conversation. If you look back at history, like rebellion used to be the unpopular thing, but then there was like that spark, the rebel that once used to be like looked down upon, all of a sudden it became like cool. You see what I'm saying? And I think it's kind of the same thing. We're waiting for that one little paradigm shift where people are going to start realizing that being a deadbeat is not cool. Being a father to a bunch of kids, but not actually taking or owning
Being
responsibility.
a dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Being a father, but not actually a daddy. You know what I
Right.
mean? Rather than making excuses, rather than sitting there, oh, well, that's the way that I was raised, or that's the way that I saw this person doing it. Well, I think what we need to do is, like you said, have these uncomfortable conversations and start holding people accountable.
I agree. Uh, are you a dad?
No, I'm not.
But I know you observe.
I definitely observe. I think everybody should observe, and be fair about how you observe things. But I will say that my father, okay, who just came out here like roughly about 3 years ago. My parents actually split back in the mid '80s,
Right.
and my mother had she did her very best. Okay, so like for all the mothers out there who are single mothers, happy Father's Day as well. Okay, because some of y'all are very strong, and y'all are doing y'all very best to take care of y'all children. I will say that, and definitely for my mother as well. My father came out here sick, and we didn't have a very close relationship. It was just pretty much, I see him every now and then back in New Jersey. But, when he came out here, he was very sick and on the point of dying. And he thanks me for taking care of him, being that we're in this profession
Right.
of medicine.
Right.
Okay. And I was able to help him bring his health back up. He realized that, after all of these years, that he thanks me for taking care of him. And I just want to say that he cried, so like for all of for like for what he did with my mom and stuff. But I was young, and I know I grew up a certain way. That's probably one of the reasons why I don't have kids today. So like always seen some, always like me personally, I would like to like to have most people just understand that all men, we do go through things, and a lot of men should.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I just think about like my father, and that situation where he almost died, and some of the stuff that he had told me, just about like how he was wrong for how he did my mother. So I always do believe that men have a chance to redeem themselves, where a lot of people don't think that. Even the man, they don't feel like that they can't do that. They should be able to reassess themselves, because you are right. A lot of the kids are lost today, and some of it is because there's not a father figure around. So it's just as important to have both parents around. I think it is very vital, because a lot of the youth is very lost. If they go out, they believe that just like what you were just saying earlier, that a man can just abuse them because maybe their mother chose a man that abused them.
Right.
And then for another thing too, for a man, me personally, I don't want no other man to raise my children if I ever had some. Because if somebody inappropriately touches my son or my daughter, all hell's going to break loose. I mean, that's just to clarify.
Let me get in there. Let me get in there with that. I'm
Okay.
with you, 150%.
Because the law can't, because the laws today well,
they're changing not to the positive. And
exactly.
we got something
exactly.
on there, gentlemen, and I'm not going to expound on it, but no, that's tonight. This individual snatched up a little girl, 15 years old, held her for a year against her will at his place, used her for his physical gratification, abused her, beat her, and got off. He got off because there was a consent law in the state, and she met it. She voluntarily went with him. He believed that she wanted to be there, but she couldn't leave. It's kidnapping. It's unlawful restraint. It's holding an individual, a civil person, against their will. It's abuse. He wore rings and jewelry, so he hit her. So it's aggravated assault. You got a ring on, you hit somebody, it's a weapon. Aggravated assault. Mental abuse. It's so many things, and he got off. Now, if that was your daughter, you got 7. If that was your daughter. Now, here's the thing. I'm with you, but stepfathers, I'm with them. Because my daddy, my father told me that the true measure of a man is his ability to keep his word and to show up. And he told me that a real man never has to raise his voice to get his point across. And to this day, I believe in that. I live by that. My father told me that you never judge a man in the group of everyone. Every person is to be judged by his or her own individual merit. Amen. So, it's never easy losing a good man. And it's not that hard to be. You step the hell up. You meet your obligation. You stand for what you know is right. You be the man you want your son to be. You be the man for your daughters you want her to have in her life. Real fathers, we man up. We stand up for ours. We give our life for our family, our community. See, my father, may he rest in peace, told me, every step you take, brother, is an imprint for the young man behind you. You feel me? I am so far from perfect, is incredible. But I'm a fairly decent dude. I speak to everybody. There's not a kid on the street that I'm not a father to. Because fatherhood doesn't stop at the damn door when you leave. It transcends past your house. You know, when you see 2 kids on the street fighting nowadays, and I've said this before, dudes run up and they go, damn, look at that, dude, you should have dipped. You should have, oh, no, catch him with the left. My dad saw something like this happen in my school. He grabbed one boy by the neck and the other boy by his collar. And he says, so if we really want to do this, gentlemen, we should do this the correct way. And he's escorted them up to the principal's office. And he said, no, don't move. Don't move. And he went out to his car and got some boxing gloves. And then he told the principal, could you call their parents? They're going to have a fight. The principal just looked at my dad. And those kids strapped him up. And then by the time it was ready to get down, they were like, I don't want to work for this. And he said, no. Since we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. Beat the hell out of each other. And then we'll get to what it was for. Do you know? And it squashed it. And I respect that dude for that. I thought it was, oh, that's a punk. I'm so embarrassed. But the thing was, man, is he just kept it going. He kept it positive. Listen, we got this break. Once we come back from our break, we'll continue our conversation. Hey, I got the fellas in the house, and we keeping it real with you right here at We're On Point.
The world's only
Sorry, fellas, my dad is my everything, so I got a little emotional. I apologize.
At least it's real, right?
You know?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Did you know that Habitat for Humanity Central Area has been building decent affordable housing in the valley for more than 30 years? Your donations to one of our private area restores support the mission of Habitat as we serve local families in need. To schedule a free pickup of your donation, visit us online at habitatcaz.org/restore. That's habitatcaz.org/restore. Habitat, decent, affordable housing.
Trey not gonna fall.
Hopefully, we should be good.
Broadcasting from the campus of the Phoenix Center for the Arts. This is
Oh,
RadioPhoenix.org.
got the back legs coming on.
Phoenix.
Just for the fellas, if y'all don't know, man, AD did get traded to the Lakers.
He did?
Financial support.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, about
They
an
gave
hour
Kyle
ago.
Kuzma and everybody else.
Brandon, matter of fact, hold up. What my cousin says?
Wait,
Brandon
Kyle
Ingram,
Kuzma's gone?
Alonzo. He said,
So Lonzo gone.
Yeah.
They wanted Kyle Kuzma. Did they get him?
Lonzo gone.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, and some other package deal, man.
They didn't get Kyle there, huh?
No, Kyle can't go.
So they still got a good team.
Yeah, and Kyrie's gonna be over there next year too. That's the inside
I
word.
can't wait to see what the ball.
So it's gonna be those
Paul got to say about that.
Yeah.
He's been quiet. It's time to get loud again.
Yeah.
He's been quiet.
Like,
The ball gonna have a lot to say about that.
Radio Phoenix, where the valley comes to talk.
Your son got traded.
Sing.
I've been making money, but
WCL.org.
Anthony Davis went.
Sunday at 6 a.m. on Radio
Sir, it's
Phoenix.
more so that New Orleans, which is rolling this trailer. You know what I'm saying?
They get Zion.
Zion.
Yeah, Zion. So they're gonna be right. Probably have the same record. They're not gonna really improve too much. Anthony Davis is the all-star. I think they got 2 picks though in the first round. So maybe they might get lucky against the good. Brandon Ingram good though.
He just not a good fit for LA.
The Lakers have to make a move, especially since the Warriors didn't win.
Yeah.
It was like they have to do something quick because it's breaking up again.
Well, the thing about the Lakers, the Warriors losing, is they have 1, 2, 3, 4 people on the bench, key players on the bench. Think about this. Kevin Garnett came in for 15 minutes, scored 11 points, had 4. Listen, scored 11 points, had 6 assists, and 4 rebounds.
He was ready to play.
For 15 minutes. Well, it was actually 13 minutes. And then he went out. He put them up. And they kept going from there.
They came in aggressive.
Oh, you talking about KD?
Yeah.
First quarter, Golden State came out aggressive.
Yeah,
They always hit their shots. But now he has a reason to stay.
he does.
Because they can say, well, Warriors didn't win without me. So I can stay there. If Warriors would have won without him, then he would have been like an extra piece that they didn't need to very big greedy. But now they can say, well, we need KD.
Oh, they had nobody.
They
in the middle.
didn't need KD in the first place, quite honestly.
But now they lost without him.
That's
So now they can be their excuse. We needed KD. So now sign up.
Klay Thompson got hurt one game.
Yeah, twice.
Bulls
He just-
fan though, so I didn't want them to repeat. I'm fine with 2. They already broke the record. They went 73-9. I didn't like that either. Yeah, so I'm a Warrior fan, but not when they started messing with.
Yeah, super team.
Yeah, not when they started messing with. No, I'm a Bulls fan, so I didn't. Once they broke the record, kind of. That was our That 72-10 was
yeah,
good. But then they lost the championship that year too, so then that kind of validated the Bulls again.
Exactly.
I'm from Chicago, so
That's what's up.
I'm like that with all my brothers. Chi-town teams.
Knicks fan, man. So
I'm a Laker boy. I've been since Storm and Norm Nixon.
Yeah, half of my family Laker fans. We got Chicago, and we have a family here. They got yellow.
Yeah, I gotta kick you out.
And we got red. And Bob, see, I don't have nothing against the Lakers.
Look, see. Here's my thing. I like Jordan. I like the Bulls, and Jordan was the man. But because they, just like Shaq, they created new rules for Jordan. And I was like, okay. But your boy, he constantly traveled. And everybody around him, and he always pushed off. Always. And I was like,
got the same moves on.
I agree.
And it works. It's working.
I agree. But hold on. But then Kobe stopped pushing off and started slinging that elbow. He's cleared out with his elbow.
I like Kobe though.
And then he raised up on you. You're like, oh, this is incredible. It's incredible.
He pushed off on that last shot that he hit.
Yeah.
But hey,
yeah,
God, he did.
Yeah.
He pushed. He was a pusher.
And we're back right here. We're on point. I'm your host, Trey. And right here, radiophoenix.org, where the community comes to chill, to talk, to sing, to listen, to connect. And we're on our Father's Day special. I miss my boy, Gilbert Sines. I know you out there. So, that's our poet out of Florida. He has a show that's running right now too. And he's doing big things. Unfortunately, we're having a couple of problems with reception, so I kept missing him. So my apologies. If you're with us, Gil, try to touch us back, and we'll see what we can do. I had something for you. So I'm gonna lay this out real quick. It's called "I Am," and it was inspired by my dad. Otis Salam, may you rest in peace. Said, I am that individual who wakes up late at night. I am that brother to make sure my home is right. I am that brother to come in and cook food and get the groceries too. I am that brother to make sure that I take care of you. I am everything you need me to be, and try to be a little more. I am the one who fixed the lights, the fans, the AC, even. I mop the floors. I am that brother to change the diapers, give the baby a bath. I am the brother that you should fear. If you touch my kids, I'll bring that wrath. I am that brother who out in the community to do the best things that I can. I am the brother to tell my brother that he's a hell of a man. I am that fella. I am that man. I am that brother too. I am all that you are. And if you look in the mirror, you see that I am you. Thank you, Daddy, for all the things you imparted on me. And I miss you, partner. See, brothers nowadays, we forget where we come from. We forgot. You see there? I'm not talking about those exceptions where you have that individual who was just a low budget, no class Buddha neck fool who was exceptionally abusive or overly aggressive toward you or your family. Those aren't as abundant as the good father. The one who wakes up top of the morning, gets out, bust his anus to make sure that his paycheck takes care of
those groceries, those bills, that car insurance, that note, the house, those clothes for those 5 kids, those 6 kids, 7 kids, 8 kids. Hell, for one. He's that brother that doesn't mind doing the sacrifice to get a pair of shoes just to show his kid because his son or his daughter went out of their way to bust their little booties in school and get that B plus, that A plus, that he can buy those $150 shoes he knew he would never get for himself. See, daddies are damn near a thing of the past. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be a thing that we look back upon and glare at it as if it was something from back in the day. Daddydom, fatherdom, fatherhood. That's real. That's everlasting. As long as there is a man on the face of the planet, as long as there are a woman on the face of the planet, and as long as they can make a child, daddydom stand strong. And all you have to do is put forth your best damn effort. Your best effort. No man is an island, but every man is a universe to a child. Ever look at daddy one time and go like this? That's my dog. He's Superman. Till we got old enough to recognize that our Superman had kryptonite. But it didn't matter because he still kept showing his Superman. My kids make me so much better. They make me so much stronger. They just do. But I think the question is, for our young men, the ones who are right behind us, because every step we take is a footprint for them to follow. Now, if they decide to go a little further to the left, while we making straight footprints in the sand, they go a little further to the left, they're going to hit the water. It's going to touch them. If they go too far, they're going to get sucked into that ocean of bureaucracy, BS, madness, low self-esteem, conflict, gender questioning, and the whole nine. And before I have those people try to jump on ship and say, oh my God, you're bashing. No, he's not bashing Jack. It's just a fact. We have more little boys now who are able, because of acceptability, to be able to become females. They have man cup. That's man makeup. These are for everyday guys. If you into dudes, that's your business. But when you have kids, and everybody knows this about me, when it's come to our children, all bets are off. Matters a damn. They need guidance. They need stability. They need role models that do not bend or twist. This is how it is. When you get older, you can change what you decide you want to do, but you can't make up for them. They said in Ohio, they have this organization called Men Who Love Boys for Life. And they have these individual parents, mostly mothers, who subject their younger sons under the age of 18 to these individuals to be groomed. And their stance is that they are only following in the same guidelines as the LGBTQ. Now, I have a problem with that. Because if they're allowed to follow through with this, that's pedophilia. Mhm.
And they have a pedophile group that's following in the same footsteps. Now, that major group, they need to put their foot down. They're always in everybody else's mix. Step on this. This does not belong here. We do not endorse these type of actions with children or individuals who believe this at all. And you know what? Not a single damn father has stepped up. Mostly mothers. Because fathers, we're too aggressive. Too aggressive.
What this goes back to what you were talking about earlier, like asking the question about what is the biggest problem that's confronting fatherhood. It's the ego, right? Instead of getting people to better themselves, what we're trying to do is more or less be so politically correct. We've sanitized our
I
children
hate
to
it.
death.
I hate it.
I don't want to offend this person, or I don't want to offend that group or whatever. And so there's a tendency to remain silent rather than like take the initiative and speak up. You know what I mean? And so sometimes we do have to have these uncomfortable conversations. We do need
Oh,
to
you mean that First Amendment to a degree?
well, without question.
First Amendment to a degree.
It's our responsibility and obligation to call people out when we know that something bad is happening. But again, I think right now what we're too worried about is just upsetting people's feelings. You know what I mean? Like if your child is a disruptive, bad kid or bad student or whatever, what we're trying to do is like force the teacher to rearrange or change the way that they teach in order to accommodate the child, rather than asking the child, hey, you know what? There's a process. There's procedures that you can take in order to better yourself, so that way you're not having to be such a burden on the.
Did anybody's teacher was anybody in school when the teacher paddled your hand, or you got that SWAT?
That might have been before our time. Now, I know back then that's what my mother would say. Yeah, that's
They
what
got
do.
a SWAT.
With a ruler.
Yeah,
with a ruler.
Yeah.
They open palms.
Yeah.
And if you fought, they get back of your knuckle. Pack. No, you couldn't hit girls. You couldn't hit a girl. If you hit a girl, you got it. It was trouble. Dean's office, principal's office, counselor's office, and you got a SWAT. They contact your parents. Hey, your son just punched Juliana in the mouth. Could you be so kind as to stomp a mud hole in Kamal's booty for me, please? Could you do that? I'll get him when I get off work. My thing is the things that our kids now, and don't twist what I'm saying, individuals listening, and I know that we got people who are going to say some stuff on Facebook too. Don't twist what I'm saying. I'm not saying that to be abusive. What I'm saying is discipline transcended the front door of our house. And when I was growing up, if little Bobby threw a ball through the window of my nana's house, Bobby got lit up. And then my nana would call Bobby's mom or his nana. She was snatching. He got snatched up there. And then mom and dad would get him too. It's like, she said, you came on my block. You embarrassed me in front of those salams. I got to get you. And then your parents, get your kid because he came over here and through a window and didn't say I'm sorry. All of a sudden, your whole, and it sounds cliche, but it's very true. It takes a village. Our block was our village. And all those kids stayed in check. And that's not a bad thing. If you see them doing something, say something. I seen a little boy put some in the dollar store. He went like this, looking around, la la la, woof, inside the jacket. And then as he came up to I waited. He came up to the counter, and I said, and he got in front of me. He was about to walk. I said, hold on, you can get behind me because I think I was here first. He said, no, I'm leaving. I said, no, it's okay. You can stay right there. No, I'm leaving. No. I know. I got you. He was panic set in, paid for my stuff. I took out $3. I said, this young man right here was holding this candy for me. The one you got under the shirt for me. Because, my basket was just too full. You want to put that on the counter, brother? What could he do? And you know what his mom did? Why did you embarrass my son like that? And I said, let me see if I got this right, ma'am. I'm going to just ask you a simple question. You're more concerned about your son being embarrassed as opposed to a police officer possibly coming in here, him panicking even more. And nowadays, you get shot
For nothing.
Well, if you
for
didn't-
not a damn thing. He could have, for taking a baby doll out the store that cost 99 cents.
That just happened. A 4-year-old little
Yeah,
girl had
yeah.
a gun put in her face because she, well,
Phoenix PD.
Exactly.
I'm not going to put Phoenix PD on blast. I'm not going to say it was them. I'm going to just say I heard it was the Phoenix PD that did this very insane thing. Took a pregnant mother, threw her on the ground, not laid her down, threw her down because of a doll that cost 99 cents. And the baby took it out. Parents weren't watching. They saw it. Baby came from behind. Had the doll in her hand. 4 police officers. I'm not even gonna call them. I'm not even gonna pull the card. I'm just saying. But people, it's fathers, we don't step up the way we used to.
That's why I just wanted to just elaborate what you were just saying previously about the situation in Ohio with the LGBT community,
Right,
how
right.
they raise children.
Mhm.
You know, some mothers maybe don't know exactly how to do or raise, especially a young boy, a little young man. So they would probably think, you know, that's a good way to raise their children so they can be considered as non-confrontational, as like to what you were just talking about with this topic. You know, kids just going in and, you know, you see a lot of the things that's going on today, like you just said, like kids are getting shot,
Right.
and a lot of it's for like no reason. And so they want their kids, when they walk out their house when they're not available to see exactly what's going on, they don't want their kids to be considered as a threat to society. And so a lot of parents, especially, you know, a lot of women who are single mothers.
But now you got, those are predators.
Right.
Those are predators.
I do know, and I do know that I agree with you, but I do know that that's not the way to go with that.
Hold on. They got something called the Second Dad Initiative. Y'all don't know.
How I go?
Feel free to Google it. Here it is. Second Dad Initiative. There is one. There's another group out there, and what they are is they're a community group to for moms who are single moms, help the kids have lunches and so forth and so on. But the Second Dad Initiative is for a bunch of men, old, turned up, withered men, and I use the term loosely, for them to watch their kids. You feel me? To watch their kids. Listen, if it didn't work for a priest, it damn sure ain't gonna work for you. No, you can't have my kid. That's unacceptable. Listen, we got a small break, and once we come back from this announcement, then you're gonna hear from my fellas, because listen, I got the house full today, and I gotta have my fellas say their piece. This program is supported financially by the Womack Cocktail Lounge at 5749 North 7th Street in Phoenix. The Womack has dining, dancing, eclectic live bands, and vintage playlists. Open 4 p.m. to 2 a.m. daily. TheWomack.us. That's the Womack, WOMACK, on Facebook and Instagram. And we thank you for your generous support of community radio.
I didn't know there was that many opportunities out there for grown men, huh?
You feel me?
They're just the avenues are opening.
And that's the reason why, as that's a damn good point. That's the reason why dads should be sticking together. We shouldn't be mean mugging. Me and Uncle to George across the street. I shouldn't. If he see I got kids and I see he has kids, if I see a little boy pushing up against his daughter, I'm gonna say something. If I don't say nothing to the kid, I'm gonna say something to him. I'm gonna say, hey, this little dude was pushing up on your daughter kind of aggressively. I don't know if she told you, but I'm gonna tell you. And listen, because at the moment I do that, I'm protecting his interest. So what's he going to do with my kids? Protect mine. And all of a sudden, that becomes contagious, and that goes through our block. And that's when you get to those blocks where you get to those stories where you hear people go like, not pulling the car, but you hear Caucasians go like, "This is just an incredible block. I mean, for years we watched each other's kids. We had barbecues and shit. Oh my God, it's incredible. You had to be there." My thing is that they actually did that. They knew little Bobby across the street. They knew little Cindy 15 houses down, and they knew the Anderson family and the Smith family. They made it a point to know the people inside their community, and we like this, man. I don't care about that number. You know what I'm saying? This is my house. I'm like, and
that's the communities, and that's the way how people grow up. That's the way how certain environments that you are placed in. You know, certain every environment is different. You know, go to a suburbs, just like what you said, man. They're a tight knit community. They know everybody. They know if you don't belong in that community. They never seen you before. You know, never seen me before.
That's true.
So, then here comes all the questions. Here comes that village, like what you were saying. Here's the village coming out to want to know who are you. So, and then like Ohio, maybe you got a person who thinks that that's a way of life to be non-confrontational. You know what I'm saying? Want to try to be understanding and friendly, and think that that's the way of life, and you find out that that's not the way of life, that you still treat the same way.
The bad thing is those people that are creating that, they're homosexuals already.
Exactly.
And they already got an opportunity to, they get rid of,
and brother,
society attacks minority men. Once they get them out the way, there's really no protection. Women, I mean, they try, but they can't protect the same way men can.
And a lot of the people who do run, like a lot of these major corporations and stuff, they are bisexual. They're bisexual. They're bisexual. And let me tell you why. Because for the man, like for those who's incarcerated, it's predatory. They see a dude who they think is a victim who was weak. They're going to try him. They're going to extort him. They use sex. Now you mentally disturbed. The only way you're going to redeem yourself is by taking that man out. That's the only way you'll get your respect back or some sort of redemption. Right. It's by everybody notice that, what that man took your manhood. Now what you going to do about it? Only way you're going to get to get at least half of your respect back is by taking that man out. Nobody's going to respect you.
I know you walking around.
Exactly.
And he's still
somebody slapping purple lipstick on you and calling you terrible. You know what I'm saying? You sing a Mary J. Love song, this Mary J. Blige song on top of a toilet seat.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna bring you on, bro. Are you busy?
Right.
And it happens.
Okay. I don't know why you keep cutting off.
Sometimes
but stay tuned, okay?
In that environment, sex is a way to degrade your man.
Exactly, and it's a tool and it's a weapon.
Yeah, it's a weapon. But no matter how you look at it,
state of mind.
It's a state of mind.
State of mind, man.
And it's still an act.
Exactly.
It's still an act. No matter how you look at it, it's still a homosexual act. Whether you use it as an excuse of trying to take his manhood away, or
so you take that. You take, like, for instance, the institutional way of life to the corporate society, and there's a lot of people that they want to climb up the corporate ladder.
They got to do this.
Exactly.
You got to do that. Yeah.
Exactly.
That happens a lot.
we are back right here we're on Point of Radio Phoenix. And I got my boy out of Florida, Gilbert Signs, and he got a piece for us for Father's Day. How you doing, Gil? Can you hear me? Oh my goodness. Can you hear me, Gil? Cool. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, you know what? I appreciate the fact that you were able to get through to us. I know we were having some difficulties earlier, and I appreciate your work for Father's Day. And if you can, man, I know you got something. I know you got something that's a little bit of fire for us, and for Father's Day. Why don't you share that piece with us that you got?
Father for Father's Day, because I think the relationship between a father and son is a wonderful one. And this poem, and I hope it goes out to all the dads out there. I know there are so many wonderful ones out there, and I call this poem my dad. I'm writing this poem for my wonderful dad. He has been by my side through good and bad. He's the best friend that I ever had. You sacrificed so much, I can't thank you enough. You will always be around, even when times get tough. Your patience and love have helped lift me above. It has helped me become what I'm capable of. Thank you for just being my dad. Being there through good times and bad. Comforting me whenever I'm sad. And I'm so glad that you are my dad. You lead by example, I have to say. And when things get hectic, you don't never go away. I thank God for such a wonderful gift. To give my thanks, I'm writing you this manuscript. When all hope is gone and my life is in despair. You always care, and I know that you will always be there. Your life has been such a positive inspiration. And your customs and virtues will be passed down to the next generation. You truly are one of God's ultimate creation. Your presence alone, such a wonderful sensation. I'm doing my best to carry the family name. And when I find the right wife, she will do the same. Even after everything we have been through, I never meant to disappoint you. I apologize for the wrong I have done. It's not on you. I'm the guilty one. I have done my best. I have done my best carrying around all the stress. Yet I can't seem to rest. But no matter what happens, I will never love you less. We have been through hell and back, and I love you for that. Whenever I stray, you kept me on the right track. I remember one birthday, you took off work that day so that you can stay and play with me. And I will always remember that for eternity. You're my father, and you're here to stay. And no matter what I say, you will never go away. No matter what happens or what I go through, you are my dad, and I will always love you.
Woo. Thank you, bruh. Right, hold on. I got some snaps for you. I got some snaps for you.
Good job.
Good job, baby. Good job.
For today.
We appreciate you, kid, and I got my boys in the house, so that went to them too, and we thank you, bro. We thank you so very much. Hey, listen, I don't want us to get cut. I don't want us to get cut off, but I'm gonna touch base back with you, and I thank you for sharing that with us, partner. You do the same. Take care. Peace.
Man, you're making me all emotional.
That's my boy right there. That's my boy. That's my boy right there. So that was Gilbert Signs. He has a radio show out of Phoenix. Out of Florida,
and he's on the, and I don't want to mispronounce this. I think the Poet's Corner, something to that effect. So he goes out, he does his reviews, and he kills it. He kills it. He kills it. So I want to say thank you for sharing that with us, man. There's a young man right now listening to you, and he's gonna be you in the next 5 years. You know, fortunately, unfortunately, he might be a bit too young, and but he has a perfect set of ears. Goddamn. So, what are you gonna tell him, as how you gonna speak to this youngster? What is it that you can impart on him for him to know?
Well, there's a lot to impart on the youngsters, but one thing I will say is, like you said before, man up, be responsible for your own actions,
Yes.
and be a man of your word.
Yes.
And you have to be a man of your word. I feel like every man got at least that on their word. God does it, right?
Only all the time.
You know, I mean, everything he says is all about his word. Now, and it's important to the, you know, those who believe in God. I'm one of them. If you read something in the Bible and it says what it says, you want God to follow through with it.
Right.
And it's because he does follow through with it that you're able to trust him. Whether it's the same way for us. If we say something and we follow through with it, we're going to get nothing but positive results.
I agree.
And that's, I mean, if that's their foundation, is their word, and they stand on their word, and they take responsibility for their own actions, then they should be able to have a straight narrow path.
I like it. I like it. And on the Bible tip, and I'll explain this a little later. I believe that God is the consummate parent. Just the end all be all. They say Alpha and Omega. That's the beginning and the end. And so Father's Day is outlandishly appropriate. And for somebody who goes, well, you can't just call him Father. Well, why not? I mean, it's in the Bible. It's in a prayer. Our Father who art in heaven. Okay, great. No, that's not enough. It's somebody else away. Father, why hath thou forsaken thee? Okay. I could go on, but I think we got the point. So here's my little cross analysis of this. Being the consummate parent, follow me. God, for those of you who believe, and this is my opinion, helped you to come into creation, just like at the hospital. Gave you a foundation, just like at home. Provided you with the necessary supplies, tools, and equipment to go forward, just like at home. Gave you a guideline for a good path, just like at home. Let you know that there are repercussions for not following what he says, just like at home. Constantly stays on watch, vigil for you, just like at home. Supports your deeds when you address him. Ask and you shall receive, just like at home. And in the event you stray, he's not the one who put you on that path, because he's already set out the guidelines for you, just like at home. So, for all intent and purposes, dads, for those of you who constantly fall back on that weak ass excuse, I didn't have a father. I didn't have a role model. I didn't have someone that would show me the straight way. I didn't have somebody who always had my back.
I beg to differ. God is ever present. And you can't say, well, no, that's not the same. Oh, God, that's not the same. Listen to what they say right then and there. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Golly. You're always aware. You're always aware. You always know that is there. So use that as your floor plan. Use that as your blueprint. Use that as your elevations. Use that as your map. And I bet you'll do all right. The consummate parent. Because daddy does the same thing. Dude, if you put on your shoe from the left side with your right foot, it ain't gonna fit. Get downstairs and eat. I'm not hungry. I don't care. Your mama cooked. You will eat. Because tomorrow you might not be able to. Go to your room. How many kids get pissed off because they had to go to their room? And think about the kids that are outside on the street that sleep at night with vultures hanging around where they wish they had somebody to tell them and had a room to go to. You feel me? So we have the perfect example. We supply the roof, we supply the food, we supply the gear, necessary equipment and supplies. We give them a guideline. It might not be perfect, but it's a guideline to get them to where we are. And hence, that is the cliche where you go like this, I just want you to be better than me. Every dad that's worth his weight has said it. Mm-hmm. Only dads that probably don't say it are the ones who are multi-trillionaires. And then they realize, damn, something's missing. Kudos. Hats off to Bill Gates. Said he's not giving his kids anything. He said he's not giving them anything. They will have to earn their way in. I had to earn. I had chores. I couldn't say what when my mom called me. I couldn't say huh, you know, and I couldn't. Yeah, it was yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Come again. I'm sorry. I had to stay on that. I outgrew the ma'am and the sir, but it stayed yes. 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 My mom said, I'm not a goose. What are you going huh to me for? and drew back a 5 of clubs. Z, that's you. Drew back a 5 of clubs. Say it again.
Let me see if I got this right. You want me to say it again, or you don't want me to say? Is this rhetorical?
I had to check me. Yeah. But you know what? I wasn't the only kid. Nowadays, a kid will walk up while you talking and go like this. Daddy, you got $5 so I could go get some soda? While you talking to another adult. Common courtesies that we were taught, our children have forgotten. Or some individual believes that it's too crass to make your child say excuse me. Right. When you enter into a conversation. Excuse me, Daddy, may I get some water? May I have $1, please?
You're pacifying him.
You know, nowadays it's like this. You know, they're talking to you, Dad, you got $5 because I want some candy too. I'm talking right now. Oh, just no, man. Time out. That was something my mom said when she was like, oh no, I'm gonna finish whooping your ass in a second. Time out. Hold on. so she could catch a breath, Jack.
It wasn't meant for the child, huh?
You know, it wasn't meant for the child. No. And then our parents helped you learn how to utilize perfect grammar. They told you what syllables were. Didn't I tell you not? to go to the store. I was like, when I'm not at home.
Wow.
You know, there it was. So now it's resting in your head. Didn't I tell you not to go to the store when mommy's not at home? Yes, you did. And you learned something. And there's always a person that does too much. There's always a dog that's going to bite the postman.
Right.
But the larger majority, we don't want the postman. We just want what's inside the mail.
Well, I think just piggybacking off of what you were saying earlier, one of the things that I'm grateful for my father, something that he imparted on me, was never seeking my identity in the crowd. You know what I mean? Whether that was like in a gang or whatever. You know, like a lot of times we see a lot of kids that identify or self-identify with an organization or the block that they're on or the school that they're part of or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
My dad was very specific about making sure that, you know, like it had nothing to do with fitting in or just blending in with everybody else. What he liked, what he respected, and what he tried to instill in us was the ability to actually speak up and stand out when we saw something wrong. You know what I mean? More than just like what you were talking about earlier. Again, I think looking back on some of the relationship that I have with my dad, every single time that I would ask him about for fatherly advice, he was always go to the word, go to the word, go to the word, go to God, go to God. You know what I mean? And I think one of the major reasons why we're so disconnected from our identity in Christ is because we're seeking our identity in everything else.
But God.
But God.
But
Amen.
But you know what? Hold on. Y'all gotta hold that thought. Because when we come back, we're gonna continue on. I'm loving this. So bear with me for just a moment. We have this brief announcement and we'll be right back right here and we're on point. Support for Radio Phoenix comes in part from Native Health, located at 4041 North Central Avenue, Building C, near the corner of Central Avenue and Indian School Road in Phoenix. Native Health provides primary medical, dental, behavioral health, WIC, and wellness services for the urban Native American community. More information is available at 602-279-5262 or online at nativehealthphoenix.org. Okay. I was like, oh, what was that?
Oh, was that on here too? Oh, the mic working on.
Just a touch. Hey, oh, let's see what they say. Our other one cut off on this.
50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma,
That's Radio Phoenix. This is for We're on Point. And We're on Point shut off. It just shut off.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just automatically.
It shut it off. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm Byron Phoenix. Join me each week for Soul Deluxe. The weekly mix show spotlighting classic and modern soul music. Soul Deluxe exposes listeners to the work and voices of artists and musicians they may otherwise never encounter, and helps introduce them to the very arts and cultural movements that are present around them. Soul Deluxe, Fridays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Radio Phoenix.
Yeah, what's this place?
This is a sound stage.
Can you go down there? That is a very specific subject.
I remember this song.
So yeah, man, look like Klay Thompson's gonna be out for 9 to 10 months with a torn ACL too. So both of them torn ACL.
What?
Reading that right now.
Yeah.
He tore his ACL?
Yeah.
It's like KD
And they
did.
lost.
Just like
And
KD
they
did.
lost. They Thompson got injured too.
Damn.
KD first and then him.
Yeah, there's two other people on the bench beside them.
That's funny because they need their max contracts coming up.
Yeah.
Let's play with their money.
Yeah.
Especially Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
He got jerked.
He was gonna ask for all his too.
And
They still probably give it to him.
he'll still get it because he kept them in. Steph was doing his part, and Steph's assists went through the roof, but his points went
Klay was
down.
hitting almost every shot.
Yes,
He was shooting 60%, 70%, and
brother was in a zone,
he was
Over
a target.
90%.
and the Lakers were like, you don't want that? We'll take that. You don't want that? You don't want that? We'll take it. But if we got Anthony Davis, I wasn't feeling Alonzo Ball in the first place. You know, I wasn't feeling Alonzo Ball in the first place.
He's a timid.
Yeah.
He wasn't timid in college and in high school, but how he plays in the NBA, he plays kind of soft.
Well, that's because his dad had so much to say, man. He was constantly in his business.
And he plays for a major market, playing in LA. So like all the celebrities, all the stars, you're getting regular airplay on a regular basis, man. You gotta perform.
You gotta perform. You gotta put out. You gotta
Showtime.
put that work in.
Yeah, he's too nonchalant to me.
But your boy Kyle Kuzma, if they'd have traded him, that would have been a wrap.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. If they would have gave him up, Pelicans would have been up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they kept him. That's good. They don't really need. You don't need too many players for the Lakers.
And you got Rajon Rondo, and I ain't taking it from him. Boy, is it good. He got hurt. He got suspended first, but then he got hurt. But you got Rajon running, and he led the NBA in assists.
He always did.
And play tough defense. He's a
Yes,
gritty
D you up. D you
Talk
up.
smack.
And he does make
He
his shots
don't
when
back
they count.
down.
Yes.
He's not the most accurate shooter, but he will hit that shot when you need him.
Yes,
He
but
does.
he's proficient with the three and just doesn't do it.
Right.
I just like a guy that's like that don't back down. He's one of them dudes that don't back down.
He's a true point guard.
Right. He is a point guard.
He's a true
Now,
point guard.
I hear that there's a possibility that Kyrie Irving might become.
Yeah,
That,
it's
yeah,
better than
yeah,
that.
yeah.
He's that.
He's going to LA.
Better
Well,
than that.
That's what they were saying already, man.
Him
That's
and
what they were
LeBron
saying.
made
Like,
nice.
He need to. He can stop playing.
Well, listen, he was there before LeBron got there. They didn't do anything.
With the Celtics.
LeBron got there. They went to their championship. He left. They didn't. Nothing happened. Went to Celtics. Nothing
And
happened.
LeBron still went.
Yes. And he still went.
LeBron still went.
They got a lot of people hurt, and they were missing some pieces. And this year, LeBron got hurt too. So when he got to the Lakers, and that showed his worth right there.
Yeah.
But then Kyle Kuzma and Brandon, they kept them in.
And I think y'all had that center too.
I just wish the Knicks
what's
would
his
have
name?
somebody, man.
Poet
All my
Chick or
Knicks is
something?
garbage.
Y'all had somebody. He was doing his little part.
And we are back right here. We're on point at radiophoenix.org. And I'm your host, Trey. And I got the house full today. I got my boy Sam, Daniel, my boy Ivan. Steve tipped out on us for a second there, but it's all right. I wanted to hear from him. And again, special thank you to Gilbert Symes out of Florida, Poets Corner. I appreciate you, bro. I love your work there. So before we went to the break, we were in it. You got this thing that you want to tell this young this young man coming up. All young men are going to be fathers, some
Eventually,
recklessly, and some with predetermined with a plan. You know, I'm going to go to school. I'm gonna get this thing. I'm gonna make this money, and then I'm gonna get this chick. I'm gonna get these funds. I'm gonna get my spot, and then I'm gonna have my family. And some are going to be more reserved. I'm going to get the education. I'm going to get the career. I'm going to get the wifey. I'm going to have the children. The fact of the matter is, every single man has the makeup, the design to become that father. The youngsters are the ones that have to listen to this. So as we go to wrap, Daniel, what are you telling this young man following in the footsteps of us right now, the one behind us? What do you have to say to him?
Just be kind to your children, because in the long run, they're going to be the ones that are going to making decisions for you when you're in a rest home. A lot of times we forget about that. I mean, again, we look at kids as like a tax deduction, or like I don't know. Sometimes we look at children like pets. You know what I mean? Because they're for our entertainment. But we don't actually pour into our children, and I think that's one of the biggest problems.
Any longer.
Like a pawn.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why, like, yeah. Instead of setting up your children for failure, make sure that they have an understanding of why they're being taught the things that they're taught, not just to regurgitate what they're hearing, not just reciting what they hear at church or at school, but understanding the dynamics of why they're being taught these things.
Right. And you know what? That I like that, because I've seen a lot of my acquaintances, associates, and friends who go like this. Man, I'm not going to do the same thing my mom or my dad did with me. And after a while, that filters down to a point to where you're not doing anything
at all.
Anything at all. And what about you, I?
My whole thing is
What are you telling that kid? What are you telling that young man behind you?
behind me, what I would do, what I would say is, you know, the way how I instilled information and how I educated you, you know, with certain situations, I think education and information is key. Because whatever a kid sees, that's what they're gonna follow. You know, and if there is no guidance, they might as well be just as lost. Hopefully, the kids sometimes themselves have enough sense. There is kids that do have like a super sense, and they know that this is not right. But for the most part, a lot of kids, they kind of just pretty much just follow whatever that they see. And so if the parents is not guiding them properly, okay, they will be misguided and they'll be lost. You know, if they see people out in the street, it's like what you were just saying a little bit earlier about, you know, how they go affiliate with like gangs and crews, you know, because their parents is not doing nothing, you know. Back on the East Coast, like just like everywhere, you know, a lot of the kids are most of the kids are the breadwinners, believe it or not, in their household. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
While the parents are actually the dependent, the kids are actually the ones that provide. You know what I'm saying? And so how they do that? How do they provide? They live a very reckless lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are very cerebral or very mental, even for a young age, because of the stuff and the things that they have experienced. You know what I'm saying? But and they go through a lot of pain.
And you change that. You got to change that.
Exactly. So for all the parents out there, you know, proper guidance is always key and it's vital. You know what I'm saying? If you don't properly educate your kids, you know what I'm saying, and try to show them other things, you know what I'm saying, that there's another way to life, then you're going to possibly, not necessarily, you might lose your kids. You might lose them to the point where they might be 6 feet under.
See, I'm me. I have those young men behind me. And though I'm not perfect, I know what I'd like for them to expound upon. So, Cheyenne, Dominique, Asante, all I want you to do is this. Be the best man you could be. Be the best man in the room. Work hard to be the smartest man in the room. And for those things you don't know, learn, study to learn how to be the smartest man in the room. Shine, but don't be belligerent. Don't be arrogant. Always stay humble. Humble men always learn, and they're always gifted things. Don't ever be afraid to ask a question. And always put your family first. Revere your friends as you watch them. And honor your parents. That's what I would say. Hey, bottoms to the top, raise your glasses. Remember, every thought is grand, every idea is warranted, and for every step you take and for every endeavor you make, may they always be on point. Till next week, we appreciate you. Happy Father's Day, and thank you for listening. You make me better. Peace.
Real motivating show.
Thank you, brother.
I was curious to see how it was gonna go when I spoke to you yesterday, and I like it.
Well, I appreciate the fact that you came through, and oh my goodness, come on now.